What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is June the 20th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and where big money is gravitating towards today. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, initial jobless claims just came out a little bit better than anticipated. So 235 versus the 242 forecast. So the market is, for once, acting accordingly. So good data, market's going up. It's not that whole inverse crap that it's been for the last several weeks. So this is definitely a good thing. Fear and greed index right now is 42. So it is recovering slightly, but still nonetheless under the fear category. So people's appetite for risk won't necessarily be fully there, but a lot of the stocks I'm going to be talking on, there's a lot of big money getting in them. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Starting off with SoFi, it is up slightly. No news, no SEC filing, so it is just merely piggybacking off of the broader market. Shorts no doubtably are going to be very active with SoFi if it does have another push to around that 650 mark. 17.52% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 181.95 million shares overall being shorted. So as it stands, it is up very slightly, so 1 cent, 0.16%. Just watch for it to flirt with this S2, so $6.45 will be a very strong pivot for SoFi today. And then above that is going to be 650, so that's going to be resistance because of the whole options associated to that. And then $6.69. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi and just kind of, again, take note of some of the strong support and resistance points. Nvidia is up 3.78%. So as I've said in previous videos, Nvidia is a beast, and there is a good amount of FOMO kicking in. Somewhat justified in some regard, but at the same time, there's one thing that I just wanted to share with you. Obviously, looking back in history, one thing that happened in the dirty 30s that a lot of people started to see as a red flag after the fact was the shoe shine individuals, or the shoe shine boys, or whatever the hell they're called. They started to give stock tips. I was actually listening to a Twitter space call yesterday, and there's one individual that did say, hey, you know what? There's one person that called me out of the blue and told me that I needed to buy Nvidia. And so that started to ring in my head, kind of equivalent. That is the modern day shoe shine individual that's randomly giving a tip, and that is a telltale sign that we are at its peak. Not to take away from Nvidia, because they are an absolute beast, but just tread cautiously, right? So no doubtably, Nvidia is going to continue to trend up, but at the end of the day, looking back in time, maybe a year, 2 years from now, we might be looking back at this stage and say, hey, you know what? This was a clear sign of a top. But again, what do I know? I'm not a financial advisor. You guys do your own due diligence. Right now with it at $140 and change, it is trading between this R2 and this R3. So 137 is going to be a strong support. And then 143 is going to be that next strong resistance / target, which in my opinion, given the momentum, it could very much touch this R3, but I don't know if there will be enough for it to stay above that. But then again, what do I know, right? Moving on, so this company has been kind of volatile this morning. So I brought this up because it was up at one time like 25%, and that was because of this news right here. So ticker's TPST. And so it's a biotech company. This is what they do. So I'll go over to the actual company profile. So 17 employees based out of Brisbane. And yeah, so just pause it and read through it if you need. It is somewhat heavily shorted, somewhat. So 10.65% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 1.89 million shares overall are being shorted. But this company went from right here. So it went from about 20%, something like that, 25%. And so this is why I did add this, because a lot of volume was getting in, but since then it just tanked. So right now it is down 2.46%. So we'll just have to wait and see what does come. But going over here for a second, with it at $2.78, it is right above this S3. So $2.74, just watch for that to hold. Vice versa, $3. So yeah, like I said, this was a very interesting stock. It was above this S2. But yeah, so a lot of volatility in the foreseeable future for this company. SoundHound, surprisingly, it is up 3.18%, largely piggybacking off of Nvidia. So no news, no SEC filings associated to SoundHound itself. This company is somewhat heavily shorted, so 23.44% of the free floats being shorted. So all-time high short interest for this company. 68.19% of the free float's being shorted, and then utilization is 96.16. If you're looking at trading it with it at $4.21, it is trading between this S2 and this S1. So $4.36 is going to be that next strong resistance slash target, and then $3.93 is going to be that next strong support. So most likely, given the fact that there's no news, this might kind of pull back. Again, it's largely piggybacking off of Nvidia, as what it has done in the past. And then moving on from here, Palantir. So they did put out some pretty substantial news this morning. So Starlab Space announced a strategic partnership with Palantir. And so yeah, that's a pretty big deal for Palantir. So it is up 2.87%. It's not heavily shorted, this company, so 3.78% of the free float's being shorted. And like I've said, I think just Palantir's on the same spectrum as Nvidia, just there's a good amount of FOMO. A lot of analyst ratings for Palantir. That's been one of the biggest driving factors over this last week to propel it higher, because even just looking over here, over this last 5 days, for instance, it is up 8.1% and 20.65% over this last month. Is it justified? I would say, once again, kind of under the Nvidia category, not so much, but at the same time, they are getting quite a lot of deals, and that's going to equate to a lot of revenue. So it's kind of yes and a no. Still, regardless, I really do like this company, and based on the technicals itself, it is projecting for it to get to kind of the high 28s to the $29 range. So there is still some room for it to go up. And like I said, just looking right here at $26 and change, it is trading between this R2 and this R3. So 25.51 will be that next strong support, and then 27.37 will be that next strong resistance slash target, which I don't see it being justified to touch this R3 today. If anything, it might kind of just stay stuck in limbo where it is right now and possibly pull to maybe around the low 26s, but again, what do I know? So let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Is there any others that you are potentially buying? And if so, why? One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.